A very good afternoon to all. This is Priyasmin Sahu, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics at Odisha State Open University. Today we are going to discuss a topic of basic economics, that is why we should study economics and why there is a need to study economics. Today in this video lesson we are going to discuss exploring the subject matter of economics. After completion of this video session, you will be able to understand why we should study economics, and you will be able to explain the principles of economics, how individuals take decisions in economy, and able to differentiate the role of an economist and the role of a policy maker. The word economics is derived from the Greek word oikonomia, which is a segregate of two words, that is oikos and nomos. Oikos means household and nomos means management. If we will join these words, it means to household management. So oikonomia originally means household management. Economy is the study of people, business, individuals and government, and how they make decisions when the resources are limited and when the wants are unlimited. Economics is a social science that examines how scarce resources can be used efficiently when there is unlimited wants but limited supply of the resources. And there are two main branches of economics. One is microeconomics and another one is macroeconomics. Basically, microeconomics deals with the individual units of the economy or the separate households or the firms and markets at individual level. But macroeconomics studies the economy as a whole, like the national income growth, inflation, employment and price level, because we study these factors in aggregate, not as an individual unit, because national income is a whole part of the economy. It cannot be studied individually by the states. Coming to the next topic, that is how people make economic decisions. People face trade-offs. What is trade-offs? Trade-offs like they have to sacrifice something to get something in the market. For example, if we go to the market and we have some limited money income, then we have to decide which good is our necessary goods that should be bought, and which are the less necessary goods that can be bought at a later stage, so that we can decide with our limited money income which things can be bought at present and which things can be bought at future. So people face trade-offs in the economy. That means decision making involves trade-off between competing goals. Then comes the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost means the thing that we undergo or the next best alternative that we sacrifice, or the cost of something that we want to give up to get another thing. Coming to the next topic, it is opportunity cost. What is opportunity cost? Is the next best alternative that we sacrifice to get our first most priority thing, or we can say it is the cost of something that we pay to get something else. For example, if a salaried person or a individual is getting a job at a regional place, and similarly at the same time he is getting a job opportunity in the city area, but due to some family constant or economic values, he is choosing the regional place to be employed, rather than he is not interested in shifting to the city area, because he has some responsibilities, and for that he wants to sacrifice some of it income. Like in the city area, he may be able to get a higher level of income, but instead of choosing that, he is interested to stay in the regional place, so that he will be able to manage his family. Also, he will be able to get a job. Next, the rationality. What is rational? The people think at the margin. Rational people ensure that the marginal benefit exceed at least equal to the marginal cost for the decisions they take in the capacity of consumer, producers, business firms or any other economic agent. Rationality basically means suppose in terms of a consumer, it always thinks of, or it always wants to maximize its satisfaction, and in case of the producer, it always wants to maximize its profit. Or we can say people respond to incentives, the behavior of economic agents. For example, the tax and subsidy often alter the consumption and production decisions because tax is a negative. It is a negative term that we have to deduct from our income source, and subsidy is a positive term that we get in and above of our normal income. Then coming to the next slide, we have why study economics. And because while studying economics, we will be able to understand the real world economic issues like inflation. Inflation means the rise in general price level, the decrease in value of money, which is termed as inflation. Unemployment means not getting a job, whether you wants to get a job at the present wage ratio, but you are not able to get the job. And inequality between the rich and the poor people, economic growth, stability, and government policies. These are the real world economic issues that we face in our day to day life. So if you will study economics, you will be able to understand these topics like what is the inflation rate, how it affecting our economy, is there any positive impact or negative impact, and inequality, what is the inequality ratio in our economy, like the inequality between the rich and poor people have increased or have decreased, and the economic growth, whether we are progressing in nature or whether we are regressing in our economic growth level. So also the second point that will benefit us from studying economics is the better decision making power in our daily to daily life, because we will be able to know about budget, which will help us in building our own personal finance level. Also consumption decisions, what are the necessary goods, what are the bad goods, what are the substitute goods, and how we should plan our consumption, how we should plan our consumption decisions so that we will be able to manage our resources optimistically. Also we will get a wide range of career opportunities, like in the finance sector, also in the banking sector, and the public policy. We can also be policy advisor or the government, business and management, and data analytics, international organizations, academia and research. These are the fields which will give you the opportunities to make yourself employed if you are studying economics. Then we are going to discuss the basic economic problem. What is the basic economic problem that is faced by an economy or the every individual faces? That is scarcity. What is scarcity? Scarcity means as a limited country, or we have a limited geographical area as a country, we have limited resources, but as humans we have unlimited ones. So we should decide which are the important goods that should be produced, which that should be consumed, or rather we should not spend our limited resources inefficiently, because the resources are limited and we should use it efficiently and optimistically so that there would not be any misuse of the resources. Then every economy, whether it is a capitalist economy refers to a country where the private hand or the private person, the ruler of the country. Then the socialist country, where the government makes every decision of the country, and the mixed, which is our in the case of our India, where also the private body and the government body both makes their decisions aggregately. The first basic economic problem that we face is what to produce, because we have unlimited ones but limited resources. On the basis of that, which goods should be produced and the which services should be produced, that is more guns or more butter. Like for example, if we are planning to produce more defense goods like guns or other type of defense products, we cannot produce so, because we have also some necessary requirements like daily consumable goods, durable goods, so that resources should be transferred to each and every type of goods efficiently or optimistically, so that we will be able to run our daily life in a systematic manner. Then the second basic economic problem or the central problem of an economy is how to produce, which method we should use to produce the goods. It should be the labor intensive, where we should use more of labors, or it should be the capital intensive method, where we should use more money rather than less labor. And then the third problem we face as an economy is the for whom to produce, how it should be how it should be distributed among the consumers, producers, and the result output from the production process, how it should be distributed in the economy, whether the rich should get the more portion of the good, or the poor should get the more portion of the good. So it should be decided by the economy, it should be decided by the government, whether the rich should get more or the poor should get more. So the third basic economic problem is for whom to produce. Basically this arises because of the distribution issue that we face as a economy. So that's all for today's video lesson. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more such videos. Thank you.